Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. The Prime Minister of Poland, Mateusz Morawiecki, has deplored the violence that occurred during Saturday's Pride Parade organised by the LGBT community in the city of Białystok. Morawiecki said there is no place for aggressive behaviour in Poland.
The police arrested more than 30 people during Saturday's Pride Parade in Białystok. Today, the Prime Minister of Poland, Mateusz Morawiecki, deplored the march and participants' aggressive behavior.
There is a place for everyone in Poland, but there is no place for aggressive behavior.
Beforehand, the Minister of Education, Dariusz Piątkowski, said that given the amount of controversy the Pride Parade has caused, we should consider not organizing these kind of events in the future. Law and justice politicians maintain that there is a place for everyone in Poland.
Everyone in Poland has the right to manifest their views, even if they're controversial for other people.
Columnist Maciej Hutkiewicz noted that the education minister was talking about the conditions in which the march took place.
I think the Minister of Education wasn't suggesting that some social groups can't manifest their views. Of course they can, but the conditions of this march should have been different, because they actually endangered the participants.
According to another columnist, Marek Król, there is no ideological war in Poland, but the opposition wants to start a cultural one.
This is the opposition's only chance to make it big in the media, because they don't have a program and a coherent idea.
Left-wing leaders want to organize a march against violence on Saturday. The Civic Platform Party says they're not involved in this idea.
The Polish ombudsman, Adam Bodnar, intends to challenge the amendments against the LGBT ideologies passed by several dozen local governments in Poland. According to Bodnar, declarations of this type may be discriminatory towards the LGBT community.
In an interview for TVN24, Adam Bodnar stated that he considers bringing the amendments passed by several dozen local governments to the administrative courts. I'm preparing to challenge the amendments concerning LGBT ideologies in front of the administrative courts. I believe that apart from being political declarations, they can also have a normative character and influence the everyday life of some citizens. Hence, these amendments should be taken on by the administrative courts. They should verify whether the local governments can pass amendments which are, in my opinion, in violation of the Constitution, namely Article 32, which states that no one should be discriminated on any grounds. Political observer Piotr Pałka gave a different point of view.
Przede wszystkim rzecznikowi się za jakiś czas kończy kadencja.
Adam Bodnar isn't the ombudsman of all Poles. He's an ombudsman of the liberal ideological agenda, which he has confirmed many times throughout his term of office. His attempt to influence the local governments, which, as the name suggests, have some autonomy in their decisions, is simply supposed to create a conflict and brew up more emotions in the pre-election public debate. The initiative Local Government Free of LGBT was introduced by the local governments in Lubelszczyzna. In March, the councilmen of Świdnik almost unanimously passed the amendment in which they protested against the cultural revolution targeting the freedom of speech, children's innocence, family and school authority and the free market. In the following months, 30 other local governments in the country followed this example.
Ursula von der Leyen, the newly appointed President of the European Commission, will pay an official visit to Warsaw this Thursday. The city will be the second capital visited by the head of the EC, having recently been to Paris.
I'm happy that we are indeed the second country to be visited by the new President of the European Commission. It's certainly a nice gesture from the head of the EC, but as we know, politics are not only about gestures, but also concrete solutions and fact. Compromise must lead to two sides being the winner, or at least for each side to feel like their priorities are taken into consideration. I hope this is the case here.
Boris Johnson has been elected the new leader of the Conservative Party and subsequently became the new British Prime Minister. The eccentric and known for his controversial statements, he will take over from Theresa May. Johnson is a strong supporter of Brexit. He has even backed a hard version of leaving the European Union, which entails no agreement.
Everyone had been waiting impatiently since the early hours of the morning to find out who would take over the estate after Theresa May. Around noon local time, everything became clear. Boris Johnson was elected as the new chairman of the Conservative Party and will be the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
The total number of ballot papers rejected was 509. And the total number of votes given to each candidate was as follows. Jeremy Hunt, 46,656. Boris Johnson, 92,1 153. And therefore I give notice that Boris Johnson is elected as the leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party.
Shortly after the result, Boris Johnson announced that he is counting on fruitful cooperation with the British government, before which stands the most important task, delivering Brexit.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, everybody. And above all, I want to thank our outgoing leader, Theresa May, for her extraordinary service to this party and to this country. It was a privilege. We are going to unite this amazing country and we are going to take it forward. I thank you all very much for the incredible honour that you have just done me. I will work flat out from now on with my team that I will build, I hope, in the next few days to repay your confidence. But in the meantime, the campaign is over and the work begins.
The newly elected Prime Minister can count on the support of the former head of the British government, Theresa May. The leader of the opposition Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, spoke about the election result less enthusiastically. Many congratulations to Boris Johnson on being elected leader of Conservatives. We now need to work together to deliver a Brexit that works for the whole United Kingdom and to keep Jeremy Corbyn out of government. You will have my full support from the backbenches.
Boris Johnson has won the support of fewer than 100,000 unrepresentative Conservative Party members by promising tax cuts for the richest, presenting himself as the bankers' friend and pushing for damaging no-deal Brexit. But he hasn't won the support of our country.
Johnson's win isn't appealing to the leaders of the European Union, who have already stated that they do not intend to renegotiate the Brexit agreement with Great Britain.
He took a long time deciding whether he was for or against Brexit, and now his position is clear. I think the position of the EU is also clear.
The swearing-in ceremony of Boris Johnson as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom will take place on Wednesday.
What's your message to the country, Mr. Johnson?
The Franco-German axis in the European Union is making another attempt to create a new solidarity mechanism for allocating migrants across the EU. On Monday, Foreign Affairs and Interior Ministers of the EU member states gathered in France at the initiative of French President Macron, who later stated that 14 member states have agreed to the new Franco-German document. The French president also said he will ensure that states refusing to share the burden will face economic sanctions.
The details of the new Franco-German deal have not yet been released, but President Macron revealed that 8 states have officially declared that they're happy to receive allocated migrant quotas. Those are Germany, France, Lithuania, Croatia, Finland, Luxembourg, Ireland and Portugal.
The conclusion
of this morning's meeting is that 14 member states have given their approval to the Franco-German document presented by the Finnish presidency in Helsinki. Of those 14, 8 have enacted their cooperation and their participation in the stable mechanism that would allow the Commissioner to act on requests and the response of the 8 member states in the necessary spirit of solidarity. Macron also delivered a thinly veiled threat against Italy, Poland, Hungary and the Czech Republic, saying that states refusing to receive their EU migrant quotas will be stripped of their rights to EU structural funds. Europe can't be à la carte when it comes down to solidarity. We can't have states that say we don't want any of your Europe when it's about sharing the burden, but we do when it's about structural funds. That won't last, or in any case, I won't sign off on financial provisions going in that direction. Filippo Grandi, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, stated at the press conference that the UN has been encouraging the EU to adopt a mandatory quota mechanism for asylum seekers arriving to the EU. Of course we're encouraging Europe, and the Commissioner will play a vital role there, to pursue the establishment of this shared solidarity mechanism for people arriving on the continent. It's a mechanism that the IOM and the OHCR have talked about for a long time. Italian Minister of the Interior Matteo Salvini didn't participate in the Paris summit, but quickly took to Twitter to denounce the Franco-German project by stating, "Italy doesn't take orders," and that if Macron wants to discuss migration, he'll have to travel to Rome. Nothing indicates that the 3 Visegrad Group members, Poland, Hungary and the Czech Republic, that all refused to participate in the temporary EU migrant quota mechanism adopted in 2015, will be willing to take part in the new permanent Franco-German migrant quota system.
Thank you very much for joining me here this evening on Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily weather. It's followed by the business, then the culture, history, and then finally the travel.